Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L here to talk about My Hero Academia chapter 377 spoilers. Alright, at the time of the video, I haven't made the 376 review, but I will make it. It's just like I wanted to do the spoilers first because they're more exciting. Don't read anything on the screen. Before we get into it, I do very quickly want to just make a comment to a particular commenter, and then we'll move on to it. And I just want to say, White Despair, I told you. I told you it was going to happen. I told you. Best moment of 2022. I know this is technically supposed to be 2023 because like the spoilers are super early. But White Despair, I told you. It was only a matter of time, White Despair. Anyway, for everyone else, um, just a little bit of background. I've been telling people for a very long time that Skeptic was going to be countered by a very particular person, and I'm not spoiling it until we get to the bottom. So, let's begin with the chapter, the chain of events that led up to where we are now. The chapter begins showing cherry blossoms while narration says that the heroes are in a bad place and the villains are striking back. They try to divide them, but now the winds blow violently. At this moment, someone reaches out their hand towards the cherry trees. So this feels like really metaphorical. I didn't find any image. Oh, you might be asking, how true are these, Trip? Yeah, I saw the most critical image. There's a lot. I've already seen all the the One Piece chapter, so like yeah, no, this is real. Maybe the summary is a little bit wrong, but it's real. Back to the present, we see a portal open at UA. Aizawa notices Mike there and understands what it means. Soon afterwards, a twice clone also passes through the portal and starts multiplying and attacking Aizawa, Manuel, and Monoma. Okay, so this little bit here is actually really good because it's like, yeah, you should be taking twice if you want to help Shigaraki. So this is really good. Okay, that causes Monoma to stop looking at Shigaraki all for one for a second, and then a huge explosion happens. It is a pretty big explosion. The power rolls are destroyed. Oh, sorry, the power poles are destroyed, and the arena starts to fall. They are no longer able to stay in the air. Mandalay reports on the situation with her quirk, and Skeptic keeps hacking. It is then that Shigaraki, using the ore pronoun, which we know is a tell for it being him, asks why Izuku wanted to know if he was still there. Did he want to have a chat at the mall, referencing that one moment? He says, it's useless here. After all, I am your villain. Okay, yeah, that's okay banter. Izuku notes that Shigaraki's personality has returned. Skeptic has taken over. Ooh, I can't show that part because I might get copy struck. Skeptic has taken over the UA system and the underground shelters. He laughs and says that everything is in his hands. Izuku is tired and says that this is the effect of gear shift on the body. If he doesn't let his cells rest, he won't be able to breathe. The second user says that he cannot stop yet. One for all and all for one are connected, and he sees that the inner all for one is unable to freely control Shigaraki's body. And again, with the recent chapter saying like Shigaraki isn't complete, I think this is it. Like it's full control of Shigaraki's body is completion state. Anyway, Izuku needs to take this chance and move. All the events leading up to this moment will be the key to victory. It's really funny with this particular line because everyone keeps saying all the events to now lead up to our victory. So it's like, yeah, at this point, this is becoming quite overused. Yes, there's a chain of causality that kind of leads to everything winning. The thing with this part here, though, all the events leading up to this moment will be the key to victory. This is pretty much the philosophy of the final arc, and this is something I've talked about a lot in my review videos, is that this is the arc about everyone coming together, like everything being worthwhile. So the reason that this comes up here, even though like this is pretty obvious and everyone keeps repeating this line, is because of the next part. Skeptic continues hacking, but suddenly a silhouette appears on one of his computers saying, "Found you." The voice says that it was difficult to find where Skeptic was, but they are not the least bit mad about it. After all, it's all for Gentle's sake. It is then that we see that Brava is standing next to Tsukachi, hacking Skeptic. End of chapter. The chapter is only 11 pages long. Horikoshi is probably still recovering for whatever illness he had. Okay, so I'm happy. This is what I've been saying was going to happen for a very long time. Brava was going to come back. And ultimately, the philosophy that justifies this is all the events leading up to this moment are the key to victory. So what we're seeing here is just consistency with Hero Academia. It's pretty much calling back to everything we've seen thus far. So it's this kind of philosophy that ultimately justifies a lot of the other big predictions, such as Nagant's going to get a moment to come back. One of the questionable ones is Shizaki, because Shizaki already technically had a moment in the final act. So it's hard to say whether Shizaki gets to get a moment to come back, but Nagant gets a moment to redeem herself pretty much. We know Mr. Compress is coming back because of the situation with, because Horikoshi told us that. But he's probably going to come back in a supportive role, that being probably like when Shigaraki's been taken over, like Mr. Compress is going to call out to him or something like that. It's going to be his friends calling out to him. It's that kind of shenanigan is what I'm expecting. Anyway, I'm extremely happy. Brava finally gets her moment. I knew this was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. And this just, again, reinforces the idea of what Horikoshi is doing, that specifically it's all the events leading up to this moment will be the key to victory. It's this kind of logic that will justify like people like Ojiro maybe getting a moment. It's right now with the Future Hero Academia, you know, this is the framework for what we're going to be seeing in the future. But the real question is like the execution, because like recently with the Shoji arc, we saw where the execution like kind of did not work out that well in some spots. Like overall, I think most people agree like that is not a perfectly executed arc. And that's ultimately what's going to be affecting this philosophy going forward. It's the execution. The guy wants to do this idea of like everything mattering and everyone mattering, but it's really up to like the week to week environment whether or not he's actually going to be able to do it. Anyway, good chapter. Very excited. White Despair, suck it. And that was mean. Sorry, White Despair. Anyway, yeah, guys, let me know what you thought down below, and I will try to get the chapter review for 376 up later. All right. Oh, and if you want to like read this yourself and see the pictures, I recommend going to Manga Helpers. Go on the My Hero Academia forum, and you'll be able to find it. Anyway, everyone, till next time, have a great day.